Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and in this video I am going to introduce my newest tarot card spread, which is called Meet Your Alter Ego. And the whole point of this spread is to help you get in touch with your own alter ego and give you some inspiration and suggestions of ways to integrate your alter ego into your daily life. So I'm going to be doing this reading on myself, and I'm using the Housewives Tarot for this reading. And you may be familiar with my alter ego, Veronica. She writes the Fridays with Veronica blog posts on my blog, dailytarotgirl.com. And she is my evil twin, my evil tarot reading twin, or I also call her my alter ego. And basically what an alter ego is I think of it as being like a combination of your shadow self, so the parts of yourself that you kind of deny and don't really share with the world, and the parts of yourself that might be really positive, but you're also kind of afraid to express them. So this might be like your dreams, and you know, like maybe you long to go on adventures, or you long to quit your job and start your own business, or you know, move to an exotic country or something like that. Those aren't necessarily negative things, but they're things that you may not, you know, you might be too afraid to act on them or express them. So that's kind of what your alter ego is. She's like a combination of all of those things. Okay, so let's start with, well, first of all, you'll notice that the spread is in the shape of an eye, because this is all about you. And if you would like to see a written version of the spread, so I've got like an actual picture of the spread and what each card position means, you can go to my website, dailytarotgirl.com. I'm going to put a link in this video. If you don't see it in the video, I'm going to put it just below the video as well, in the little information box below the video. Okay, so the first card represents how the unexpressed parts of yourself is affecting your life. Because just because we don't express a part of ourselves, it doesn't mean that it's going to just go away. Usually they kind of come out sideways, or they manifest as addictions or obsessions or something like that. So this card represents basically how your life is affected when you repress those parts of yourself. So I got death, which is interesting. Actually, I'm going to bring it a little bit closer so you can see. At first glance, this card almost looks like it's a really uplifting card. It's like colorful, and there's like light rays coming off of it. But if you look closer and read the writing, you realize that it's a jar of real salmonella, and there's skull and crossbones on it, and it's covered in flies. So it's like really gross. The feeling I get with this card is like rottenness and like stagnancy. And also danger, like it's deadly, like it's really, really dangerous. So the message I get almost is that like stagnancy is dangerous. It can kill you. So to interpret this in light of the specific position, I think that when I don't express the parts of myself, like, you know, the parts of myself that make up my alter ego, the repressed parts of myself, if I don't express them, it can create stagnancy for me, and perhaps even be kind of dangerous. So the three cards on the bottom are what make up the personality of your alter ego. So think of your alter ego not just a combination of the things that you repress and the parts of yourself that you're too afraid to express, even if they're really good. Think of your alter ego as like a person, a personality. And these three cards, which I'm going to turn over all at the same time, are going to represent that personality. So remember, I'm not doing this reading for you. This is my own reading. So you're going to obviously get different cards here. And by the way, if you're doing this reading along with me, drawing your own cards, feel free to share what cards you get in the comments of this video. I'd love to know what the personality traits of your alter ego are. Okay, so I got Four of Swords, Seven of Wands, and the Devil. And I think the Devil, it's so funny that the Devil has appeared here, because the Devil totally sums up what my alter ego Veronica is all about. So I'll show you this card because I think it's so funny. There's a piece of chocolate cake. There's cigarettes, Valium, martini, coffee, cheese whiz, and spork, and a TV dinner. So most of these things, except for maybe the spork, are things that are totally addictive. They're things that probably in small quantities you would enjoy, except for the spork and the TV dinner. But they can also be very addictive, so they can have a negative side. Okay. Seven of Wands to me is about feeling almost like competitive, or feeling like you have to be a perfectionist, feeling like you have to struggle and fight to kind of stay on top of things. And in this particular card, we see toothbrushes on a toilet, so I think it has to do with, you know, being a perfectionist and trying to get things really clean, maybe before company comes over or something like that, to try to present some kind of image. So I feel like this is kind of part of my shadow self, like having sort of obsessive, anxiety-producing obsessions about cleaning, or feeling like you have to fight to prove yourself or to stay on top or be competitive. That's a personality trait I don't really express very often because it's so anxiety producing. I usually do repress it, and for that reason I never partake in competitive sports or anything competitive, because I don't like it when that side of my personality comes out. So when you're looking at the bottom three cards, keep in mind what the positive interpretation is and what a negative interpretation might be. So each card is going to have positive things and negative things. So with this card, you know, being competitive and that being anxiety producing might be negative, but being a perfectionist in some ways might serve me. Then I've got the Four of Swords, which again totally sums up what Veronica is like. She is a total diva. She loves spa days and just relaxing and staying at home and taking time for herself and doing face masks and things like that. That totally, these three cards very much sum up what my alter ego is like. Now let's move to the top three cards. Let's start with the middle card. This card is going to give you some clues as to how you can best work with your alter ego. So how can you start to embrace who your alter ego is, and how can you work with him or her? Now I got the Lovers, which is pretty self-explanatory. I feel like this card is about you know, embracing my alter ego with open arms and just falling in love with her. And really it's about kind of practicing self-love and being able to love all parts of yourself, not just the good parts or the parts that other people love, but being able to embrace all parts and seeing the positive and fun side of your dark side, seeing some of the good, the good side of some of your bad traits, or at least seeing the humor in them. I feel like that always helps. And I feel like the Lovers sometimes can be about being romantic and maybe even being a bit obsessive. So I think even kind of being a little bit obsessed with my alter ego and finding out who she is and spending time working with her is a good way for me to embrace her and start working with her. And maybe even imagine kind of like taking my alter ego out on a date. So like maybe just going to a coffee shop for an hour and getting myself a nice chai latte and spending some time kind of journaling or writing about who my alter ego is. Okay, so the next card, we're going to go over to the card on the left, and this card represents how you can start integrating your alter ego personality into your daily life. Okay, so I got Temperance, and I feel like, again, this is kind of a funny card to get in this position, because you want to when you integrate your alter ego into your daily life, ultimately you want to do it in a balanced way. You're not going to suddenly start living your life through the eyes of your alter ego, because that is going to get you into trouble. And I think temperance is all about balance. This is about adding a little bit of, as you can see in the picture, this person whoever's cooking is adding, you know, a few different ingredients. And I feel like that's kind of how you should use your alter ego. It's more like a spice to kind of spice things up a little bit. You don't want to use too much of it. So if I go back to these three cards and think, okay, how can I integrate these things into my daily life a little bit more? I think I could probably maybe set aside some more time for relaxing and spa stuff. I feel like Seven of Wands, I could maybe allow that perfectionist parts of myself to come through when I'm creating things. That's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. And I can also kind of let loose a little bit and not be so obsessed about my health all the time and doing things healthy. Can kind of let loose and have a couple drinks every now and then. But I feel like I'd be doing that in a way that's congruent with the Temperance card. So I would be kind of doing these things once in a while, a little bit here and there. I like to tap into my alter ego whenever I need like inspiration for something. I obviously tap into her on Fridays when I do my Fridays with Veronica blog post. And whenever I need like an idea for something, or even if I'm not sure how to go about handling a particular situation, I might think, what would my alter ego Veronica do in this situation? Okay, so let's move over to the last card. And the last card is what your alter ego wants you to do. So what advice your alter ego might have for you right now. Okay, so I got Strength, and I don't think my alter ego wants me to be strong. I think that that's too easy. I think that's too obvious. But when I look at this card and I look at the little scrubby pads, I see how they are, I think of them as being abrasive. And I feel like my alter ego is telling me to be more abrasive, especially when I'm communicating with people about things that it's important to me. I almost can hear her saying that I'm being too soft and wishy-washy and too diplomatic, and I need to be more direct and more abrasive if I want to get what I want, or if I want to get my point across. And I think if I spent more time looking at this card, I could come up with some other things as well, but that's just the one thing that jumps out at me. Now, of course, I'm gonna kind of zoom out and look at all these cards together and see if there's any other themes jumping out at me. And the only real theme that I'm noticing, well, for one thing, there's a lot of major arcana cards, like tons, which is interesting. But what I'm noticing really is how the personality of my alter ego is so clear here. It's really jumping out at me, and I think that's really interesting. And also that message that stagnancy and danger kind of can happen when I deny these parts of myself. When I totally shut those parts of myself down for long periods of time, things can become stagnant. I can feel uninspired. I might have a hard time kind of moving forward. And it's almost like a part of myself dies. You know, when you deny a part of yourself, it's like you're not a whole person, or it can feel like that. So I think that's the message with the Death card. So for this reading, I don't know if I said this in the beginning of the video or not, but for this reading I'm using the Housewives Tarot, which is a really fun deck. And I hope you had fun watching this, and I encourage you to go to my site, dailytarotgirl.com, and check out the written version of this spread. It's a lot easier to kind of to try that way and to take in. And I wish you luck as you try this spread out, and let me know how it goes. Let me know what cards you got, and if you had fun doing it, and any insights you gained from this reading. So my name is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and thank you so much for watching.